We give a warm welcome to Boudreaux.
Hey, Mama.
We'll go down to the floor on that baby mine. I gotta tell the spoke to you on that. I gotta tell the spoke to you, baby. Got them folks from the bayou on that baby mine. On that baby.
All right.
Glad for y'all to see me out gone. Gee, I be Boudreaux from the South Louisiana Bayou. You know why they call it the Bayou? You walk out the door of your house, there's the water right by you are gone. Well, I had myself some more problem getting here from Louisiana to Repton, Alabama. I got my friend Claude to show me out of the bayou to the highway. And so we be walking along until the bayou turns into some woods. And I be walking along, and Claude, he grabbed my arm and said, "Watch out, man, what you about to stop into." And there be this hole in the ground. And I picked up a rock and I sunk it in that hole, and I listened to hear if I could hear a splash or a thud. I hear neither one. And then old Claude, he picked up a big air rock and sunk it down that hole, and we listened to hear if we could hear a splash or a thud. We hear neither one. And I said, yo, Claude, look at that old railroad tie by them bushes. And I picked up one end of that railroad tie, he picked up the other end of that railroad tie, and we throw it in that hole. And about the time we get ready to listen to hear for a splash or a thud, here comes this billy goat, run himself out of them bushes and jump down that hole. Don't disappear. Momentarily, Robert come out of them bushes and say, "How y'all be?" I said, "We be fine, I'll go on see." He said, "Y'all see my billy goats around here?" I said, "Sure enough, your billy goat done run himself out of the bushes and jumped himself down that hole." And he said, "That can't be my billy goat. I make sure he not runs around. I tie a rope around his neck and the other end around a railroad tie." Well, I'm going to see my rich friend Pierre in New Orleans. Now, he get all his money by starting his own business. He bought himself a plane, and then he hired old Thibodeau to stack the cargo boxes. He called it Cajun Air Freight. And he be up there flying on that plane one day, up there in the air, and there be Thibodeau back there stacking them boxes. And there runs into what they call turbulence. And it rocked that plane back and forth like that. And a box fall off the top of the stack and hit Pierre in the back of the head. And there he be, passed out on the steering wheel of that plane. And that plane started drift on. And old Thibodeau, he all beside himself. He runs up there to see what be the matter. And then he picked up the microphone for that radio, and he said, "Mayday, Mayday, this is Cajun Flight 90210, we got ourselves a problem. The pilot, he not unconscious, and me not know how to launch this plane." And then momentarily, you hear from the control tower, Yo, Thibodeau, we understood your problem. We're gonna help you launch the plane. First, you gotta tell us what be your height and your position." And Thibodeau said, I'm 5'7" and I stood at the front of the plane. No, said the control tower. You don't understand us. You gotta tell us what be your altitude and your location. And he said, right now I got a mighty poor attitude, and I be from Slidell, Louisiana. The control tower said, no, Thibodeau, you don't understand us still. Listen, tell me how many feet you be off the ground and where you be in relation to this airport. And Thibodeau, he said, well, counting the air feet and my feet, we got 4 feet off the ground. And ain't nobody on this plane related to nobody at your airport. They be a long time of silence, and nobody said nothing at all. And then finally you hear from the control tower, yo, Thibodeau, tell us who be your next of kin so we know where to send them flowers. Oh, there'd be a plane crash that day. And poor Thibodeau, he be dead. And Thibodeau, he was a bad Cajun, I tell you. When he be just a little bit of boy in the bayou, he and Claude get themselves in all kinds of trouble. They pick up the rocks and knock out the windows in the schoolhouse. They drill holes in folks' pirogues till they sunk down in the bottom of the bayou. Their parents all beside themselves. They asked the preacher man to come and scare them boys straight. And he said, okay, put Thibodeau and Claude in that room there and I'll scare them boys straight, I guarantee. And so that preacher man, he go in that room and he look at Thibodeau and Claude and he said, where is God? Them boys look at each other and they not say nothing at all. And then that preacher man, he used what they call that revival voice. And he said, where is God? Ooh. Thibodeau look at Claude look at Thibodeau, and they not say nothing at all. And that preacher man take himself out of the room to give them boys the opportunity to think about what he said. And as soon as he leave the room, old Thibodeau turned to Claude and said, oh, we in trouble now, man. They think God is missing and we had something to do with it. Well, old Thibodeau, he be dead. And he be waiting in line up there in heaven to get to the pearly gates. And St. Peter be there asking folks questions to see if he let them in. And there be 3 persons in front of old Thibodeau. That first person walk up to St. Peter, and St. Peter said, what you done did good, huh, for me to let you into heaven? And he said, well, I be a dentist, and I fix folks' teeth and help them smile all the time. I go to them third world countries and fix the poor children's teeth for free. And St. Peter said, that good enough, brought yourself into heaven. And then that other person walk up there, and St. Peter asked, what you done did good for me to let you into heaven, huh? And he said, well, I'll be a lawyer and an attorney. And I represents folks in the court. And I represents the folks from the slum for free. St. Peter, he said that, all right, brought yourself into heaven. And he asked that third person, he said, what you done did good for me to let you into heaven, huh? And he said, I'll be the director of that HMO. I hope folks get to the hospital and get all the attention. And then old St. Peter said, well, let's see. You can come into heaven, but you got to be out in 3 days, I've got. Well, about that time, old Satan see old Thibodeau up there waiting in line to get into heaven. And Satan, he said, I got you on my guest list down there in hell. So we take Thibodeau down there in hell. It'd be hot down there in hell. But there'd be Thibodeau, he just walk on around. And Satan said, Thibodeau, don't this heat bother you? He said, no, it reminds me of floating in my pirogue out in the bayou in the middle of June. It not bother me at all. Satan gets so mad. He go in that room where that trumpet be, and he turned it way up. I mean, it was hot down there in hell. Folks be sweat on and shout on. It's hot down here. It's hot down here. Help me, help me, help me. And there be old Thibodeau. Just walk on around. Walk on around. Oh, that made old Satan mad. He runs up there and said, Thibodeau, it be hot down here. Don't it bother you? He said, no, it remind me of downtown New Orleans during August. It not bother me at all. And Satan said, what do bother you? And Thibodeau said, oh, this occasion, he can't stretch that cold. I can't handle that cold. And so Satan, he go in that room where that trumpet beat. He turned it all the way the opposite direction. And it got cold down there in hell. There'd be ice all over the place. And folks' lips be blue and they be shaking on and saying, help me, it's cold down here, it's cold down here. And there'd be Thibodeau, aye, ha, 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 laugh on and carrying it on. That made Satan mad. He said, Thibodeau, you can't be happy. There'd be ice all over the place. All hell froze over. And Thibodeau said, sure enough, that means the Saints are going to the Super Bowl. Well, I go see my rich friend Pierre in New Orleans because he survived the wreck and he got that insurance policy settled on, I guarantee. And I said, could your wife Marie drive me to Alabama? And he said, no. I said, now, I'll be a good Cajun. I'll not mess with your wife. And he said, well, Marie, she drives like that light on. And I said, well, that'd be good. I got to get here quick, I guarantee. And he said, no, like light on, she's going to strike them trees. And he said, I'll make a deal with you, Boudreaux. If you load up all the garbage in my yard, in my pick-em-up truck, and get rid of all that garbage, you can drive my pick-em-up truck to Alabama. So I load all that garbage in the back of the pick-em-up truck, and I'll be driving on down the road, and I cross the Alabama state line, and I'll be looking around for a fine place for dump on. And I see on the side of the road this fine place for dump on. And I pulls over the side of the road, I start dump on all that garbage, and then here comes this Alabama State Trooper man. And he got that blue light going and that siren, and he pulled right up there, and he walked out with that fancy shiny barge and that gun on his side, and he said, what you doing? And I said, I'm dumping the garbage right here. And he said, you ignorant idiot, and you dump on that stuff right next to that sign? And he said, don't you see that sign? I said, sure enough, it said, fine for dump on. And so I started dump on. And I asked him if he was there to give me my $500. Well, I had a problem. I could not sleep at night. I think there's somebody up under my bed. And I roll back and forth, I get off and I look on there on my bed, there'd be nobody there. I get back in bed and I think somebody under my bed. I roll back and forth, get up, look under my bed, there'd be nobody there. Finally, I take myself to the psychiatric man to see what's wrong up there in your head. And I said, doctor, I got a problem. He said, I think there's somebody asleep up under my bed. I roll back and forth, look under my bed, there'd be nobody there. And I said, can you help me, doctor? And he said, sure enough. And I said, now, I'm a poor Cajun, how much is this gonna cost me? And that doctor said, let's see, a 5 session, $100 a session. For $500, we solved your problem. And I said, that's too much for me. And I took myself out of that office. About a week later, that doctor see me walking down the side of the road and said, yo, Boudreaux, you still got that problem? You thinking there's somebody sleep on up under your bed? And I said, no, sorry. And I done solved that problem for $6.97. And he said, how you do that? And I said, I took myself to Walmart. I bought me a saw. I saw off the legs of that bed. I guarantee there ain't nobody sleeping up under that bed. Oh, I still got this problem that I put on sleep at night. I think my conscience bothered me. They had this bronze new construction site near my house. And at night, I snuck it myself over there and got some lumber and took it back home. So I go to the local Catholic church for confession. Been a long time since this occasion had a confession. And I said, Father Boudreaux, forgive me for I have sinned. And Father Boudreaux said, what you done did, Boudreaux, huh? And I said, there'd be this new construction site near my house. And I snuck it over there and took some lumber and brought it home. And Father Boudreaux said, what you done did with that lumber, huh? And I said, well, there'll be a board missing on my porch. I prayed somebody gonna come over there, stops in that hole, and broke their leg. So I fixed the porch. Father Boudreaux said, well, that's not bad. And I said, hold on. I had some more lumber left over after that. And he said, well, what you done did with that, huh? And I said, my poor dog Fido, he'd be out there in the wet air all the time when it be rain on, and he got no place to go. So I done builded him a dog house. And Father Boudreaux said, well, that's not bad. And I said, well, hold on. I had some more lumber left over after that. And he said, what you done did with that, huh? And he said, my wife always complains there's not enough room around the house. So I done built a master bedroom, a master bath, and a 2-car garage. And he said, that'd be ridiculous, Boudreaux. You're gonna have to make yourself a penance. And he asked me, do you know how to make a penance? And I said, no, sir. But if you got the plans, I got the lumber. We got any Baptists in the house? Oh, we got some Baptists here. Well, Brazard, he be a Baptiste, and he moved down to New Orleans. Now, if you a good Catholic, guess what? On Friday, you can't eat that red meat. No sirloin steak, no hamburger, no red meat on Friday. What meat you eat on Friday? Fish. A good Catholic only eat that fish on Friday. Brazard the Baptist, he moved out in that Catholic neighborhood and he pulled out that grill in that backyard on a Friday afternoon and he slapped a big beefsteak on that grill. And that aroma go out in that Catholic neighborhood and they're going, oh, this is terrible, temptation. We cannot have no red meat on Friday. And there be Brazard cooking that beefsteak. Oh, we cannot have this. And so they called up Father Boudreaux and explains to him the problem. That Brazard the Baptiste, yeah, they're cooking that sirloin steak on a Friday afternoon. And he said, well, you know what? I'm going to solve that for you. I'm going to convert him from a Baptist to a Catholic. So sure enough, the next Sunday at the Mass, at the end of the service, Father Boudreaux, he called Brazard up there, and he got that font where that water beat, and he get some of that water, and he look at Brazard, and he sprinkled some on him, and he said, you born a Baptiste? You got some more water, sprinkle it on him. He said, you raised a Baptiste, and you got some more water, sprinkle on him. He said, now you be a Catholic. Next Friday, guess what? Brazard, he done pulled that grill out in the back of his yard, and he slapped another beefsteak on there. And all the Catholic neighbors, all besides themselves, they call up Father Boudreaux and said, Father Boudreaux, I thought you done converted him from a Baptiste to a Catholic. And he said, sure enough. And he said, well, he out there cooking that beefsteak again on Friday. So Father Boudreaux, he go over there to see what be the matter. And he step in the backyard, and there be Brazard in front of that grill with that beefsteak. And he got some marinade sauce like that. He sprinkled it on there, and he said, you born a cow? He got some more, sprinkled it on there. He said, you raised a cow? He got some more of that marinade sauce sprinkled on there. He said, now you be a catfish. Well, the two preacher man, they be out there fishing in the bayou one day, and they made themselves some signs. Father Boudreaux, he made him a sign that said, the end is near. And Reverend Robert made himself a sign that says, turn yourself around. And every time somebody brought themselves down the road in the vehicle, they hold up their signs. Father Boudreaux hold up his sign, the end is near. And Reverend Robert hold up his sign, turn yourself around. And sure enough, they turn themselves around and go the other way. But here come this Loyola student, and he be riding down the road, and sure enough, Father Boudreaux hold up his sign, the end is near. And Reverend Robert hold up his sign, turn yourself around. That your lawyer student, he rolls down his window, and he shake his fist, he said, you religious fanatics, you not tell me how to live. And he drives on down the road. Momentarily, you hear this big splash, like that. And Father Boudreaux, he turned to Reverend Robert, and he said, you know what? Instead of making them two signs, the end is near and turn yourself around, we should have one sign that said the bridge is out. Well, I want to share with y'all tonight the Cajun Gospel, the big story. Adam, he be the cousin of all mankind. He lived in the big, beautiful bayou called Edom. One day, he took a nap, lost a rib, and got a wife. How y'all be? Glad for you to see me out down tea. And they had the Lord for the landlord. And the rent they sent back. Don't eat nothing from that tree that knows the difference between good and evil. Adam rebelled against God and ate from the only tree off limits in the whole pretty place. Since Adam be our cousin, we have a natural bent for the same thing. Sin. Stay on in nature, serving individual needs. Think on that we the only gator in the swamp and should get fed first all the time. Wow! For all have fallen short of the glory of God. All have sinned. All folks' gifts been drift on in the dark water of life's bayou. Like the skunk be dead and the stunk still hung around, so sin done snuck and stuck in our lives. Woo-wee! It smell like something be dead. But Jesus, he think he can clean us up real good, I guarantee. God demonstrates his love for us even while we were sinners. Jesus died for us on the cross. Dying on the cross, Jesus unstuck the stunk of skin that be killing us. By saying, Jesus be my kin and I sticking with him, y'all be saved. If y'all confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, y'all be saved. Y'all ain't stuck with sin no more, but Jesus stuck with you all the way to heaven, your final fantastic zip code, i.e. Jesus for me. To live is Christ, and to die is gain. The Holy Spirit show y'all the way. He guides you into all truth. Remember this, God loved you first, so you got to keep loving him back to get even with him, I guarantee. I want y'all to join in what we call a good old Louisiana gospel song. I'm just a weary pilgrim traveling through this world of sin, getting ready for that meeting when the saints go marching in. Y'all know, here we go. Oh, when the saints go marching in. Oh, when the saints go marching in. Oh, Lord, I want to be in that number when the saints go marching in. There's a place that he's prepared us if we journey to the end. There's a crown of life he'll give us when the saints go marching in. Here we go now. Oh, when the saints go marching in. Oh, when the saints go marching in. Oh, Lord, I want to be in that number when the saints go marching in. Oh, when the saints go marching in. Oh, when the saints go marching in. Oh, Lord, I want to be in that number when the saints go marching in. I leave y'all with these words to be a happy occasion. Keep the crawfish in your tummy and Christ in your heart. God bless you all.
Thank you, Boudreaux. Boudreaux also has an alias, and I know y'all, if you get a chance to say hey to him, do that. Also known as Reverend Ed Shirley from Greenville United Methodist Church. His wife Sharon's here with us tonight as well. So another round of applause for Boudreaux.